Welcome back. It's the 2016 United States Disc Golf Championships here in Rock Hill, South Carolina. This tournament coverage of the back nine with the featured card. Eagle McMahon standing beside me, doing some video voiceover of the Ken Climo, the Paul McBeth, the Seppo Paju, and Eagle. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here once again.
So we're going to take you through the back stretch of this course. This is the middle and heart of this course. Very difficult, very thin, lots of OB. What do we have to look forward to?
Some players throwing some safe shots, some aggressive shots, trying to save their pars, some heartbreak, just classic USDGC.
This is excitement you're looking for. Hole number 10, 554 feet, par 4. This little flyby is actually giving you the visual through the most direct line to the basket on the elevated green. Players opting to lay up, players opting to go for it. What's the play on this hole?
It's really about how comfortable you are with your distance and accuracy. If you got big D, crush it. Go for your eagle. Here, there's a lot of headwind out there. I throw one of my most overstable drivers and just throw it way too hard and too much angle.
So that's out of bounds to the right, a little crosswind, headwind. How far is this shot?
The sign says 554, and I'd say it plays a little bit less than that, maybe 554 to the pin, but a little tip, if you bail out to the right, there's a better chance of you being inbounds. So playing the right side is definitely good.
So yourself and McBeth going out of bounds on tee shots, and you see Seppo and Climo learning from that. Just gonna pitch off to the left side and setting up their second shot into the green.
This drop zone shot it's pretty routine. Just take an overstable driver out wide, let it skip up the hill, and this is to save your par. So this is definitely a big shot. If you're missing this island, you're gonna start racking up a big number.
Textbook play by Seppo there. The layup into a soft layup, and looks to be an easy 3 for him as he checks it up onto the elevated basket. Climo leaving it a little wide, waiting for it to sneak back inbounds. Here's Paul. Attempt at eagle.
A little high. That headwind just holding him up.
That's a tough putt at that distance. This one as well, going right into the teeth of that headwind, leaving it short into the bricks.
A little headwind, hitting a little high, but still sticking. I was definitely happy to get my par on that one after throwing it OB on the first shot.
It looked like a very confident putt as you jammed it in the heart with some good velocity, and you had those chains ringing. Seppo playing a very routine, sticking to the game plan that he practiced, the layup to the approach, and McBeth with a tap-in birdie. Not looking too happy about that after getting a look in an eagle, but it is a birdie, and you'll move on to hole number 11 with the featured card. Got Seppo and Paul both taking birdies, Eagle and Climo with pars. Hole number 11, 734 feet. It is a par 4. Hazard rope all up and down the left and right side of the fairway. And there's that basket perched up on the cross side hill with that wind and that flag blowing. One change they did with this hole this year, they opened it up. Like on many holes, they open up and push the OB or the hazard line down to the left, really opening up and giving you a chance to throw a nice long tee shot.
Yeah, it being hazard, it allows you to go real far off the tee, maybe being inbounds to get the easy 3, but if you're out of bounds in the hazard, you have an easy upshot. So that's my game plan on this hole. I'm trying to go big off the tee and hopefully get an easy upshot.
Now you're trying to bring it to that top shelf of the fairway. That one got a little left on you, right?
Yeah, there's some pretty strong headwind, and my hands were feeling a little bit sweaty there, so I didn't get a real good grip on things, causing me to underthrow it.
There's a champ playing his game, throwing it short, but in the fairway, safe, playing aggressive on the second shot. Not sure if that's in bounds, maybe tailing off to the left side.
There's a bailout area there, so him and Seppo are going for that same hyzer bailout spot in order to get that easy pitch up 3 or 4.
Champ knows what he's doing, and Seppo following him down the fairway. McBeth's first shot placed him here on the other side of the bushes. Just looking to escape and get out of there. Laying up, second shot, being in bounds.
That was impressive. He had no idea where the fairway was, and him placing that sidearm destroyer with precision in the fairway.
So first shot hazard for you. Here's your third shot onto the green. Yeah, there's one of these holes where you can't take for granted. It's always been a hole that you're trying to get that birdie, but how aggressive do you want to play? Kind of surprised we didn't see any big forehand shots on the second shot, or even rollers, as that hole and the slope of the hill really feeds into that kind of shot. Seppo talking about playing very conservative, just depending on the wind conditions, and playing really safe. As you see Climo playing safe down the fairway, Seppo's doing the same kind of game plan, just keeping it in bounds, not really playing aggressive or attacking these, taking his birdies when he can. Champ for par. I was going to say one thing, at least the wind's consistent. Even on 10 and 11, you see the kind of crosswind going left to right, but even a little headwind like you said off the tee.
Yeah, the standard wind on these holes 10, 11, 12 is usually a headwind. So at least you can kind of expect what you're getting yourself into on these holes.
Hole number 12, 901 foot, par 4. Now this is one of these holes that's transitioned from a par 5 to a par 4 over the years. And this year, unlike any other year, they've opened it up even more to invite the big arm, the cannon shot off the tee, trying to get way down the fairway. They even have a 600-foot sign down there, just kind of give you a little look at where you're trying to aim for. What are you throwing on this hole? What are you unleashing on this big shot?
I'm throwing a S-line PD2, super overstable, got a lot of headwind, so I know that disc was going to fight it real well and give me big distance.
Seppo known to air it out as well. Big flexing turnover shot. Coming back inbounds, tucked a little to the right. You see the headwind really affecting these shots. They're really turning over to the right a lot more than these players are expecting. Looking for McBeth, take out a little aggression with a big tee shot here, looking for the flex back. That'd be down the flat, looking across. That'd be a shorter second shot than most.
This next shot's a little scary. It's a pretty routine shot, but you have to commit to it. If you miss this shot, you're at the drop zone, shooting for a big number, so you definitely want to get in bounds on your second shot.
Surprised to see these shots being such low line laser shots, aside from the big, towering hyzer shots you typically see. But with these winds kicking up, you want to keep it low and out of the winds conditions. Nice fortunate break, a little skip and a little grind check off the top of the red rope. Back in bounds for Seppo.
Kenny was OB the first shot, so he's going to the drop zone and putting it inside the circle.
It's a blind green, and sometimes you can see the basket, sometimes you can see the flag from a distance, but a lot of times if you're tucked in that valley, it's really offers a really tough line of sight for the second shot. McBeth need to capitalize on that. Finally picking up a birdie. It's been a slow round for him, just trying to get something going, but he's on a roller coaster with a couple out of bounds here and there down. But there's you, just keeping pace, keep on moving. You're on a really good stretch right now, bogey free through 12 holes. And Champ knocking in a par from the drop zone. A little wave to the crowd, a little walk off the green. McBeth and McMahon with the birdie threes on hole number 12. Climo and Paju settle for pars. Hole number 13, aka 888. Why? Because it's 888 feet. One of the toughest holes, I'm going to say it is the toughest hole on the Winthrop Goal layout. But one big change to this hole, they've taken the tee pad and shifted 100 feet to the left. So that first tee shot, you're not throwing over the parking lot. You being your second year here, you got the experience a little different from last year to this year and open up a big shot.
Yeah, this change allows for people to go a little bit more aggressive off the tee. There's hazard all down the left side, and if you take a big shot and you're in the hazard, it's not necessarily a bad thing because you can attack on your second shot. So Paul's laying down a roller here, going big.
A lot of cut angle on it. Never really stood it up. And it still looks like it's angled left, about to fall left. And like Eagle was saying, this is a hazard zone. Everything short of this path that you see in the fairway is hazard. Seppo here trying to get on the right side of the path, catches path, skipping left, and that's in the hazard as well. Hazard being with that first shot, you'll throw your third shot with a penalty stroke from that zone, from where the disc lies. Now Climo also going roller, but going a little more aggressive and taking it a little tighter to the right. What happens there?
Well, he'll be throwing a second shot here. I actually called him on a foot fault. His left foot was clearly on the ground when he threw. So as me being a professional and playing by the rules, I want to see them being used. So I call a foot fault. My group agreed with that. And hit Ken throwing his second shot inbounds. So, yeah.
So you saved him a stroke there essentially, but you were playing by the rules. He did foot fault on the tee pad, allowing another tee shot. First one out of bounds, and the second tee shot that counts stayed inbounds. So that's a very fortunate break for him. Seppo going across the parking lot with this approach shot. A very risky shot, trying to get the skip and the check onto the green. The first one, checking, skipping, but hitting the curb.
That's the scary thing about that low line. If you get a low line over the parking lot, it's going to shimmy low to the ground and possibly get that curb. I personally would take a high shot that skips higher on the skip.
Now this shot was unreal. McBeth out of position, tucked behind the bush, and the only option was a big turnover approach shot that flexed, settled, and stayed in bounds by nearly a foot. Very risky play, especially in such a diabolical, dangerous hole. Champ caught up on a bush, second shot, onto the third. Checks it up there, circles edge. Like I said, 888, this is the hole where it can make and break your round. You could be having a great round going into this hole, and a few things happen, a few skips, a few rolls, a lot out of bounds. You're throwing from a strip of land onto a massive island with a lot of cement out of bounds in between. Paul McBeth with a massive save from the hazard to get the par on hole number 13.
4 is nothing to laugh at on that hole. You can see some huge numbers. Getting a 4 is a sigh of relief.
I believe the highest number for round 1 was a 14 on this hole. So there's a lot of danger, a lot of hazard, a lot out of bounds. I'm sure you're happy to tap in your par and move on to the next hole. Scores for 13. You got McBeth and McMahon karting par, Climo with a bogey, and Seppo with a double bogey. Hole number 14, 413 feet, a par 3. Now this is kind of a different hole. You're throwing along the hillside across the path, and then everything left of that green is a hazard. Now you're trying to play the shot away from the hazard, opting for the forehand shot.
I like the forehand on this hole because it plays into the hill, and it's easier for me to kind of control it and see where I need to land it. So I put that inside the circle, pretty happy with my drive, inbounds.
So you're going forehand, McBeth going big, wide hyzer to the right, trying to get a big skip and maybe a possible look. He's going to get the green flag, but out of position on that putt.
Yeah, he wasn't too happy with that shot, if I remember. He said he grip locked it right when he released it.
Climo leaving it low and right. Still stays right side of the path, but it is inbounds. Seppo trying to go a little more aggressive line, but throws it low, throws it wide, stays in bounds, hits the tree. Second shot, forehand. He's playing conservative. We're talking about it. It's playing very conservative on these holes. McBeth, same thing. Elevated basket, you're not really going to take that risk, especially with the wind, especially with the downhill slope. And here's your putt. Uphill headwind.
Yeah, this is another perk of the forehand. You put yourself down there so you can putt up at it. You can be a little bit more aggressive on your putt. And look at that. It resulted in it too.
Made a little adjustment on a few of the other headwind, uphill, or elevated basket putts. You hit the band on hole number 9 and made the adjustment there. Put it high chain and in for the birdie. Everybody here going to knock in their routine pars on the hole. No one getting too risky. No one really attacking the green, especially with that downslope. Very dangerous. It's one of those holes you can really take for granted. Through hole 14, Eagle with the lone birdie, moving into 7 under and current leader in the tournament, going into 15. 539 feet through the triple mando, dog leg to the left, par 4 with a really guarded basket. This thing's tucked back in the bushes, low ceiling into the trees, resulting in a very tough green. Even if you land close to the basket, it's a tough putt. What happened there?
Oh, one of the media guys asked me a question before the hole. I'd consider it a jinx. Yane, don't go around asking people scores. Yeah, he asked me if I had any bogeys, and I missed the Mando, and the best I can do after that shot is get a bogey from the drop zone.
So everybody kind of switching up their game plan here. It seemed like when it was just a tunnel through the trees, they're rifling shots way back there. And now with this triple Mando in play, everybody's playing a lot more scared and tentative on these tee shots. Wow, a rare forehand roller from the champ. Just trying to get a second shot out in the open.
He's so experienced, he has any shot in his bag.
Here you are on the drop zone, going forehand roller as well.
Yeah, I think probably 90% of the players in the tournament would throw a forehand roller off that shot just because it has the most potential to get left.
Another out of position forehand shot. Seppo again caught left side of the Mando, but he never got past or crossed the Mando, so he's still in bounds, throwing that second shot. What's he doing here?
He looked up and he saw a window, so that is the best opportunity to get down there and maybe get a putt. That's McBeth aggressive golf at its finest.
Seppo with a variety of shots, backhand, forehand roller, forehand shot. You need all your shots to play this kind of course efficiently. Same thing, a backhand, forehand roller into a forehand shot, approach to the green. This thing is guarded. This thing is guarded, it's tight, it's low ceiling. McBeth trying to give it a run. Left it high, left it over the basket.
Tester comeback. There's a whole bunch of trees there, so you're going to find yourself doing some crazy stances from wherever you are in the trees.
These guys are going to clean up their pars as Eagle taps in his first bogey of the round on hole number 15.
They were bullseyes, I wasn't.
Still got it going though, still got it going. McBeth, Climo, and Paju all scoring par, and McMahon drops a stroke, sitting at 6 under par. Hole number 16, 396 feet. It's a par 3, and they've really taken the teeth out of this hole, open it way up. There's no OB to the right, there's no OB to the left, except when you start getting about a third of the way down the fairway, you do a string of hazard rope. So it really kind of cuts out these forehands, making sure you got to execute a really good forehand shot out and to the left, coming back right, just to give you a putt, a look, and a chance at birdie. So a different position here. They have an A position and a B position. A position first round being tucked behind that tree.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between those positions from them being so close to each other. You can be parked on the B position and not have a easy putt on an A, and vice versa.
So coming in these last closing holes, these final 3 holes, 16, 17, and 18 all have alternate pin positions for each and every day. The first and fourth round are going to have the A position, and the second and third round are going to be moved the basket into the B positions. Beautiful forehand shot, executed perfectly.
There was a great tailwind on that hole, making those forehands really easy to throw. I probably threw that at about 2/3 of the power of I normally do on this hole.
So definitely 400-foot shot with a forehand, kind of dialing it back, as he says. So having his weapon as a forehand thrower and a backhand thrower, obviously, huge advantage on this hole. McBeth as well for a birdie with the forehand off the tee. Yeah, it's definitely a different look on this hole. Over the years, it's always been out in the open, a very visual basket. Now they're kind of putting a little more obstacle into this hole, especially surround the basket, even a 10-footer you're not going to take for granted. Paul McBeth and Eagle McMahon with the birdies on hole 16. Eagle gets back to 7 under par, and Paul McBeth finally gets under par. Hole number 17, 249 feet, par 3, the island hole. This is the one hole that has broken people down throughout the years. Coming down the stretch, you're having a good round. This is the hole that could take the wheels off the wagon. McBeth up first, going turnover putter, headwind, hits the top of the bails. Very unfortunate shot. You got to make the adjustments with the headwind coming off the water. You better be able to dial in your lines, dial in the height, and don't do that. That's 2 misses. He'll be throwing his 5th shot on 17. So turning out what was a kind of a so-so round at 1 under par, really struggling here on 17 with 2 to play.
And he just sticks that one barely.
Eagle forehand shot. That seems like the most logical shot, the most safe shot if you have one on this kind of hole.
Stepping up to this hole, it seems so much longer in your head, but when you step on the tee, it's just right there. It's so close. So it's a really easy shot, but you just overthink it because there's so much that can go round, so much history behind this hole. Just getting on the island feels like a reward in itself.
Definitely another hole you can't back off or take for granted. Champ flashing his ring, catching the tree and dropping inbounds. Seppo going forehand, sawing it off early right side and out of bounds. Here's his third shot from the tee. Putting it on the playing surface and green light. It's a good size green if you look at it. The way the basket's positioned is very tight to the early left side, but the rest of the green opening up really to the right side with a lot of landing room for a tee shot. Everybody just taking their lumps and moving on, trying to lay it up and not taking any chances. Any kind of putt that could skip off the top of the basket or off the rim and roll, many bad things can happen, especially with that OB being less than 10 feet from the basket. As we said, multiple pin positions on these closing holes. This is the A position on 17. It'll move to the B position for the second and third rounds, giving you a little more chance to attack for the players. Hole number 17, McMahon and Climo both going par. McBeth giving back 3 strokes and Seppo dropping 2.
Always thrown Innova and competed with Innova. I don't think I'd be playing this sport if it wasn't for creating the disc itself and then just taking it to the next level over and over and over again. How great the discs are themselves. It's really gained my trust, and I don't think I would be here without Innova. I don't see myself doing anything else.
Hole number 18, the final and finishing hole, 399 feet. That's not typical. This is the great closing hole of the Winthrop Gold Course. They've actually trimmed it back and dialed this hole back about 150 feet, making it a very challenging par 3 on the downhill slope.
Yeah, the slope is really tough to play your shot into because there's so many possibilities. I'm going mid off this just for the soft finish. I got a great air bounce and I impressed myself with that shot. To finish the round, that's definitely something that feels good, especially on this course.
The wind playing off the water on the downhill break, right to left. And I didn't mention, there's an elevated basket, so it's giving me a little more challenge, even at this distance, with this landscape, and then propping this basket at a little higher line of sight. Paul McBeth didn't quite turn that one, really didn't commit to the line and get it over. Flexes out of bounds, left side. Seppo keeping with that conservative play, lays it up there. Same for the champ, they're on the same page. McBeth, out of bounds tee shot, putting for 3, uphill outside the circle with confidence and in. That was incredible. That was a great way to finish the round. Unfortunate on the OB, but a great way to save it. So here you go, ready to close it out. A great round, currently 7 under par with a chance to go 8. Do you know the scores at this point?
I didn't know the scores at all except from my group. I just knew that I was about to beat Paul McBeth by 10 strokes, and that's something you can't say every day. So it was just, that's kind of all I was thinking about. Knew I shot a great round, knew I was up there for sure.
What great composure throughout the round. Never had a roller coaster, had a good steady pace. 18 years old, one of the youngest players in this event, on your second round through on this tournament event. It's just great to see what you've done.
Yeah, I mean, I live and breathe disc golf. I may not have too much experience in the professional scene, but I have a lot of experience in disc golf. I've been watching this course for years, and it's just great to be a part of it now.
So with that 8 under par, Eagle moves into a tie at top of the leaderboards with Patrick Brown through round 1 of the 2016 United States Disc Golf Championships. Thanks for joining us.